The rain drummed incessantly against the fractured windshield of Daniel Carter's battered Toyota Corolla, each drop a hammer beat, echoing his own unraveling existence. The dashboard clock flickered feebly, 2:17 a.m., as though it too had grown weary of marking time. Daniel sat motionless in the driver's seat, his knuckles pale against the steering wheel, parked in the vacant lot of a long-abandoned gas station off Route 17 in upstate New York. The world outside was a murky blur of rain and shadow, but inside, the silence was heavier, thick, suffocating, broken only by the slow, steady drip from a leak in the roof. He was 34, and life had worn him down to the marrow. 3 months ago, he had been a warehouse supervisor. Now, he was just another casualty of downsizing. 2 weeks later, Sarah had left him, the stark finality of her departure captured in a single note on the kitchen counter. "I can't carry us both anymore." She had taken their 6-year-old daughter, Mia, with her. Soon after, their apartment was reclaimed by an indifferent landlord. Now he had nothing, no home, no family, no future, only $13.42 to his name and a gas tank as empty as he felt. Daniel had never been one to surrender easily. He had been the kid who shoveled snow at dawn, who took double shifts at the local diner to help his mother make ends meet after his father vanished. Hard work was supposed to mean something. It was supposed to take him somewhere. Instead, it had led him here, to nowhere. The weight of it all pressed against his chest like an iron vice. His gaze drifted to the half-empty bottle of whiskey on the passenger seat. A simple solution, beckoning. Then, through the rain-slicked windshield, a flicker of light caught his eye. Not the harsh glare of headlights nor the sterile glow of a street lamp. Something softer, more deliberate. A lantern swaying gently in the storm. A figure moved beneath it, trudging along the shoulder of the road. Who the hell walks in weather like this? Daniel wiped the condensation from the glass, squinting. Curiosity stirred, a faint ember in the cold expanse of his numbness. Against every instinct, he shoved the whiskey bottle into the glove compartment, grabbed his threadbare jacket, and stepped into the downpour. The cold sliced through him like a blade, but he pressed forward. His boots sank into the mud with every step until, finally, he was close enough to see the man holding the lantern. The stranger was older, perhaps in his late 60s, with a weather-worn face and a beard streaked with silver. His raincoat had seen better days, and a modest backpack was slung over one shoulder. He walked unhurriedly, as though the storm was of no consequence. "Hey!" Daniel called, his voice nearly swallowed by the wind. "You okay out here?" The man turned, meeting Daniel's gaze with calm, knowing eyes. A slow smile crept across his face, serene, out of place amidst the chaos. "I'm just fine, son. How about you?" Daniel hesitated. "Me? I don't know. What are you doing out here?" The man chuckled, his voice a low, gravelly hum. "I walk every night. Rain, snow, it doesn't matter. Keeps me honest." "Honest?" Daniel echoed, swiping wet hair from his forehead. "With myself." The man studied him for a moment, then nodded toward the road. "You look like you're carrying more than just that jacket. Want to walk with me a bit?" It was an absurd offer, and yet Daniel found himself nodding. They walked in silence at first, the lantern's glow casting long shadows ahead of them. The stranger introduced himself as Henry, a retired mechanic who had lived in the area his whole life. He didn't pry, didn't ask Daniel why he looked like a man on the verge of unraveling. Instead, he spoke of the road, how it stretched endlessly, carrying some to new beginnings, others to dead ends. "Every step's a choice," Henry murmured after a while. "You don't always know where it'll take you, but you keep going, that's the trick." Daniel huffed, bitterness creeping into his tone. "What if you're too tired? What if you've got nothing left?" Henry stopped. The rain carved rivulets down his face, but his eyes were sharp, piercing. "Then you take one step, just one. Doesn't have to be far, doesn't have to be perfect, but you take it. The rest comes after. Daniel wanted to scoff, to tell Henry he didn't understand, but the words refused to come. So instead, he walked. They continued down the road until, at last, a faint neon glow broke through the storm. A diner, quiet and unassuming, waiting at the edge of the world. Inside, warmth seeped into Daniel's bones. A waitress wiped down the counter, and a trucker nursed a cup of coffee in the corner. Henry ordered 2 black coffees and slid one across the table. "Warm up," he said, "then tell me what's got you parked out there like the world already ended." And somehow, Daniel did. He spoke of the job, of Sarah, of Mia, of the apartment, of the whiskey. It all spilled out, raw and unfiltered, as if the storm outside had found its way into his chest and now poured forth, unrelenting. Henry listened, silent and steady. When Daniel finally stopped, he felt lighter. Not fixed, not whole, but lighter. Henry leaned back, considering. "Sounds like life's done a number on you," he said, "but you're still here. That's something." "Barely." "Barely's enough." That night, Daniel accepted Henry's offer of a dry place to sleep. And in the morning, over eggs sizzling in a skillet, Henry made him a deal. Help him restore an old truck in the garage, and he'd pay him in cash. It wasn't much, but it was something, a beginning. Daniel took the job. He showed up every day, hands calloused, muscles aching. And piece by piece, the truck took shape. So did he. He saved enough to rent a small studio, started calling Mia on weekends. Sarah was hesitant, but let him visit their daughter once a month. Each time, he held her a little tighter, promising himself he'd be the father she deserved. 6 months later, Daniel stood in Henry's garage, staring at the finished truck. It gleamed under the overhead lights, purring like something alive. Henry clapped him on the shoulder. "Told you, one step." Daniel smiled, a real one this time. He wasn't whole yet, but he was moving. A year passed, then 2. With Henry's help, Daniel opened his own repair shop. Word spread about the mechanic who worked late, who charged fair, who treated people right. He rented a bigger place, one with a room for Mia. When he picked her up, she ran into his arms, laughing. One evening, Daniel returned to that gas station lot. The rain was gone, the sky clear. He stood where he had once been, lost, broken, done. But he wasn't that man anymore. The road stretched ahead, vast and uncertain, but he knew now every step mattered. And so he took another.